Hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Excellence Podcast. Today's guest hails from the Republic of Moldova, a small country landlocked between Ukraine and Romania for those who are geographically handicapped. After getting a degree and working for the Technical University of Moldova, she came to the United States only knowing 100 words or less of English. Today, 9 years later, she had her greatest year in real estate with over 45 closed transactions. She's clearly one of the best in Jacksonville real estate. Let's welcome from ERA Oneteam Realty, Veronica Barba, to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on today. I'm really, our pre-show conversation, I hope we're going to repeat some of the things because I think, you have a unique story and people are going to resonate with it. And the fact that there are people obviously were born and raised in this country and grew up just seeing real estate. Obviously, the language, which was one of your obviously greatest challenges initially there, and they think real estate's hard, and you found a way to learn the language and become greatly successful in it.
Yes. So yeah, definitely. I've been now 8 years in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
In total, 9 years in United States, and yes, it's not easy. It's difficult. It's just you have to love it and find solutions for every problem to stay and become even grow each year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to just do a little commercial break here, just before we get deep into it. Remy Graphics does these nice mugs. You have a nice hot pink one in your gift bag there. RemyGraphics.com, RemyGraphics.com. Laser engraved gifts. They'll do one-offs for you. Just give her a call if you need to. I always advertise John and Sally, welcome to Jacksonville, or whatever you want to put on that mug, or the other laser engraved gifts that she has. Not just mugs, but a lot of other things. Go to RemyGraphics.com for those. Thank you, Remy Graphics. Okay. I was reading the bio that you put in my little intake form there. You were born in Moldova when it was still under control, because you're right between Ukraine and Romania. Which I think Romania is on the map because was it Nadia Comaneci, right?
Yes,
The
the
gymnast,
Nadia
right? That's where the Americans are like, oh, where's Romania? We knew Romania was, right? But he was still under Soviet control.
Yes, that's true. I was born in Soviet Union, which because Moldova was part of the Soviet Union at that time.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit what it was like, and growing up. Give us some perspective of what your experience there as a young person, really from age, and then obviously then going to was it the Technical University of Moldova? Yeah.
So growing up, first of all, I was really blessed with a great family, great parents, great grandparents, and that was the best blessing in my life. And but in terms of society, of course, I I don't feel the greatest place to be born at the time, just because from the family and beliefs I came, I struggled multiple years, and then I was always looking for. I had a dream in my mind, like why if I will be able to just step out from the country, and how the world will look like after this border.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, and this was like a dream. What's in the world? Because I felt at the time not knowing too much about world, just being really kept in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the opportunity to be one of the first students to go to study abroad in Romania in 90. So this was a dream come true, my first dream come true, where I was able to go and starting to study in a medical college to become a nurse.
And help me out a little bit. Did you feel because under the Soviet Union, what family you came from, right? Which is not necessarily the Soviet Union, really all over Europe. Your last name means a lot. The family heritage. Were you considered just a average, family? Mom and dad just did common work, or were they involved in the government in any way or anything that gave you any extra privileges, that sort of thing?
No, I came from a middle class family, but actually I did not have any privileges. Actually, on contrary, my family was persecuted.
Hmm.
And it's a long story,
Right.
a sad one. But yeah, my family was really persecuted because of their beliefs. And my parents had a church home
Hmm.
for 26 years. And can you imagine at that time, we've been through a lot. So, and this is a chapter that it's very painful to me. So it's just something that I have in
Yeah.
my back that it's not great story to tell.
Right. Well, I think, I mean, you've been here in the States now 9 years,
Yes.
and there's definitely, we have generations here that truly don't appreciate. Although I cannot obviously get my arms around what the stories you have or what's in your head, so to speak, of that upsets you, if I can use a lack of better words. That the average American completely does not understand what they have here.
I will
They
agree
take it for
with you.
granted.
The, most of people, I would say, will not understand the true blessing they have. They
Hmm.
have to be born in a free country with so many options to just take advantage of life and be successful or accomplish any dream they have.
Right, right. But you're able to go to university
Yes.
of Moldova. You actually change majors there, if I read
Yes,
correctly.
I changed the major.
So in this setting, because at this time now the Soviet bloc is
Gone.
dissolved, right?
Yes.
Was there immediate changes? And tell us just a little bit, tidbit. What did obviously most Americans are, oh, the Berlin Wall came down type of thing. What happens?
So it takes time to change from one country
Hmm.
to be built to another country. It takes time, and it's a time of even you have to fight for your new language, and you have to fight for studying in your own language, and just it's a transition. So it's not going to happen in 1 year because we have actually the same people
Hmm.
in living in the same location. So, and we, after so many years, we still have people that they still dreaming about the old times.
They're
Uh,
still living in the Soviet
yes,
bloc.
yes.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we have the new generation where they are completely different than us, let's say. So it's a transition between old and new, and we just have to, understand that not everybody is willing to welcome to the new country. They still have some, great memories from the old times. But again, it's a transition, and the country right now is doing amazing, in my opinion, based on how we've been treated before. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a plus.
I have this curiosity because I'm a history, you know, geography, and then I have the psychological part questions in me. Looking, obviously, the United States, as large as it is, and you can go to California, you can go to Florida, and everybody in between. We have our little pockets of culture, but Moldova is really not much bigger than the state of Rhode Island
Yes.
in there, and it's landlocked. What is it? You said creating a country. When the Soviets, I don't know how do you say? Did they?
They just give us the freedom.
They just gave you the freedom. They lost their control or whatever, however you want to describe it. But now Romania's there, Moldova's there. So why explain, like, if you could, to Americans listening to this right now, why does Moldova, like you said, define itself as its own country versus, like, you think of the other little countries or come part of Ukraine or whatever, to have a larger, obviously whether it's a standing army or just economic things. Why does Moldova? What is it unique about Moldova and its history that it creates its own little state
So
or
Moldova
republic?
actually was a part of Romania. So in the Romanian thing, we have like more influence from Russia, but actually being Moldovans, we were always thinking Romania is our mother. So we're kind of like left children between, these changes. So we just preferred to stay as a country, not. Of course, was discussion about to become again part of Romania, but again, people will talk what they really want, and they want to have the autonomy, and then just we have a great land, and we are very hardworking people. So I think there is a future for our country. But again, it's a process. It's
Right,
not
but if we go
easy.
back, and I'm just like, so if we go back pre-Soviet Union, Moldova was its own country at that time.
Yes, so
Yeah,
in Soviet Union we have 15 republics,
right.
and like every republic will still have something about specific as a republic, but you are part of big country.
Right.
So
The Republic of Moldova, though, has been around for,
for a while.
yeah,
So,
okay,
yeah.
goes back to hundreds of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. So
Okay.
it's like a republic, but it's not independent. You can talk on your own language, but still you have.
Yeah, you're part. I just wanted to kind of give everyone a little history of, and obviously, as small as Moldova is, it held on to its heritage, its history, and so forth, and obviously has tried to get that back.
But at school, we were really struggling because we speak Romanian language. But when I was at school in, elementary, middle, high, you have to write actually with Cyrillic letters, which the wording will be in Romanian. You pronounce in Romanian, but the letters are Cyrillic. So this was the biggest challenge. So like you'll pronounce in English, but you have to write in Chinese. So
Yeah.
was something.
So, and now you said you know 5 languages,
Yes.
and probably parts of others.
2 of them I'm kind of like
Haven't used in a while.
forgetting.
Yeah.
Yes, but 3 of them I still handle very well.
Now, is this something they taught in school or just
In school,
to operate
in school, I learned only very well Russian, of course, and French. But for French, I took 1 more year to study it more, to speak better.
Right.
And Hebrew, Hebrew, we lived in Israel for a few years, so that's the way how I learned the language. And English, I never took any, English classes. Only a year and a half ago, I went through a class to improve my language. But it's still so much room.
Wow.
To work
All
on
right.
the
We're
language,
gonna see it.
yes.
Yeah. You're creating some great questions for me. All right. So you get your degree.
Yes.
You were lecturing. So you're instructing or whatever at the college. What 9 years ago happens that you get the opportunity to come to the United States and you take it?
This is a very sensitive subject to me. So I was really in a stage of life where I say I can't stay anymore there. So, and then United States is the country where will welcome me for the things that I were looking for, to be protected and have freedom. That was my main point to choose United States, not for financial opportunity.
If you need a drink of water, that's your
Not for
bottle.
financial opportunity like most people will do, but for me, like I built my career. I had, at the time, accomplished lot of things, and the only one thing that really make me to leave the country was to find protection and find the freedom.
Right. Because this is just my history and just um, curiosity. Obviously, when you're under the Soviet bloc as a young person, you're only learning what they want to teach you.
Yes.
You didn't quite have the opportunities to go and explore, and there's no internet really at this time
No.
to, if they even allowed it. I think if the Soviet Union today would not, if it was like obviously back in the 70s and 60s, 70s, and 80s, they probably wouldn't even allow the internet.
Yes,
Only privileged
definitely.
people could get on the internet, right? So how did you know what else was out there? When did you start reading? When the Soviet collapsed? Was it just something in you or your family that drove you to find out what else is out there?
So actually in '89, I attended a big event where Mark Finley came to Moldova from United States, and I attended the first classes, I remember, about how to be healthy, like um, how to drink water, what's the lifestyle, like
Hmm.
all these small things. And I just looked, these people just came from a great place, definitely. And that's the
So
best
you started following them
place.
and learning
Yes,
what they
that,
were.
that was the first contact actually to see. And then they published a journal with more information about families from United States,
Hmm.
about how they practicing to praise God freedomly. And
Hmm.
we know all how this is the land of freedom.
Right.
And that's I had some ideas about the United
Because
States,
I
definitely.
would imagine, as a young person, when you're under the Soviet bloc, obviously United States bad. They're, everyone walks around with a gun.
We were not talking about this at
Yeah.
that time at all. We had our own problems at that time.
Right. Right. So, all right. So you get the opportunity. You come to a point in life where, okay, hey, I've got to go to the United States. Really, in a nutshell, what's that? I mean, coming from Moldova, is it? I know. I at least can only imagine getting a visa or whatever you need to do to come over. Did you come over as a tourist initially, or I'm coming and this is where I'm going? And what was that
No,
process like? How long did that
I
take?
came being a tourist first.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
I came, but I came and I was looking, as I said, for protection, for peace of mind, and when it comes to choose a place where you want to live, where you want to stay, where you want to just withdraw from where you came.
Hmm.
So of course, we know the biggest city like Chicago, where we have a huge community,
Hmm.
and we know New York, we know Miami, Tampa, and all of this. But I was looking really for a place to feel it more American style.
You
That was my main goal
didn't want to be put into another
feel the
Moldovan community and just feel
yes.
everybody just
Yes,
only
so
talks to each
that
other.
was my
Yeah.
goal when I looked at Jacksonville just by map.
Hmm.
And the one plus that attracted me was really that is close to the ocean.
Hmm.
So that's the city, but nothing else. And this was like an unknown. You go somewhere, but you have no idea what's
Yeah.
this place.
Well, that says a lot about you because, like you said, you could have just chosen to go, as I'm sure many immigrants do. They kind of migrate to their like kind because they're
Yes.
comfortable there. They might have a cousin, or
Yes.
uncle, whatever, and they're speaking the language, and you don't. You still could be detached from the westernization or Americanism that you were searching out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was looking for a change, a complete change, and I was looking more for to be safe and just start, you know, enjoy the freedom that I was looking for so many years.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you're here. You did you do anything else? Because it looks like you came here and within a year you're in real estate.
Yes.
What was your attraction there? Did you meet somebody that told you about it? Because obviously we know real estate in Moldova and real estate in the United States are not related.
Exactly. So I came, and because I worked my entire life, I was immediately searching for a job.
Hmm.
So, and of course, in my field, architecture and construction, that's my field. So, with my skills, my experience, I was really looking into find a job that is related to my education. And through Indeed, I found two jobs. I applied. I was invited for the first interview, actually, to had an interview with a great company here, and I passed the first step. And to me, it was because of my language, of course, a huge barrier between doing a job and speaking. And
Right.
they say, don't worry, we really like your portfolio and your skills. And I remember that time they showed me like, because we really need you, some programs that we are actually looking for. And at that time they were building Jacksonville airport.
Okay.
It's like, we really need your skills. And I was so happy, like, oh, I'm gonna get this job. And they say, don't worry about the language, we will send you to the school for 6-7 months and we will help you.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm the luckiest person to come here with having no knowledge,
Right.
about the country and how it actually works here. And here I am, like, I'm going to start this job soon. Until I went to church, and one lady approached me, and I don't remember exactly how she introduced herself and what she asked me, but this is the question that I remember always in my head, like, have you taught to be a realtor? And in my mind, a realtor to me did not tell me anything.
Did you even know what it meant at that moment in time?
Yes,
Sorry.
I had an idea, but I was not really interested
Right.
to explore
Because you had spent
it.
the school time and you had this
Yes,
degree in
I
architecture and so
Yes,
forth.
I
Yeah.
spent 10 years in total in studying. So to me, like, I'm gonna focus myself in things that I really love to do, and I know how to do it.
Right.
Even it's gonna be different, but still, it gives me the opportunity to be on my path that I really like. And then this was the question. And then this person, Sandra McDaniel, she texted me for about 2 weeks, almost every day, and she gave me phone calls, and she said, now, if you're looking for a job, I'm gonna give you a job. And then I became very curious what is about this and why she's keeping me, reaching out to me, like,
Right.
what's
Does she see
the
something
reason?
in you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the second time when I met with her at the church, she's like, I see something in you, and you are going to be successful like I was. And then I found out more details about her, that she was the queen in sales in Jacksonville. She was retired, but she's a great person, that she is, she has a big heart to help people. And now I have no idea what she saw in me, because I was not even able to maintain a conversation with her, to be honest. And I'm not sure how much she knew about who I am.
Right.
But she said, I see something in you. And then after 2 weeks, I said, this is, I think, just God talks to me. I have to, because logically I have zero things to qualify to be a successful realtor. And also I Googled and I said 60 hours, that's not serious, that's not a serious career. Also, I don't like sales. 87% fail rate. Nobody knows me. I don't have any friends in this city or family to support me, or even to tell one word about me.
Right.
And then in 24 hours, I just changed my mind. I said, I think God talks to me through this lady, and I will just go to take real estate classes. And I went, and I had to learn to write down all the English words and also the real estate information.
Because at this point, you'd only been in the country.
Less than 1 year. And, you know, like I had no idea what does mean even the loan or mortgage, nothing. Like you are stepping to be into a new completely field. You
Brain
have no
surgery from
idea.
architecture.
And it's not even that you are liking it. It's like I will go more just because of this lady. That's it.
So, you passed the test the first time around?
I passed the test second time.
Second time, okay.
Why not the first time? Because my language was very, very poor, but I was really smart to figure out what is wrong because I had the ability to learn, even if at the time I was not great in English, but with the translating and all of this, I was able to understand the material. But I catched how they asking the questions. So here is the right answer and here is the right answer, but in the middle is the challenging when they ask and or
right.
stuff like
Sometimes.
that. Sometimes. So
yeah.
I figured out that I know all the information. It's just the way they're asking me. So I passed the second time.
Ah, good.
But for
good.
the math questions, I was great. I was really proud of myself. So math was not really about,
Right.
average and all of this was really great.
Well,
easy to pass.
That even for people that were born here, how they ask the question is a lot of times, you have to really focus.
Yeah, I heard this not an easy test to pass, and then I say, okay. Actually, for the first time when I did not pass, I was devastated. I am not used to not pass a test, but I had to accept it. It's the language, and I will try another time.
All right. So this person that leads you in, obviously you follow her.
Yes.
She's semi-retired. She's just kind of dabbling in it now in her career, or what is?
So
where
she was retired at the time. She was just teaching with Ray Davison Lynn.
Okay.
And I mean, I had no clue about real estate. I was just like a piece moved from one place to another place because I had no idea about what it's about. And she say, Carol wants to meet you. And she sent me the address. So I showed up at the office, but I had no idea how it works. Like you have to have an interview, and I had no idea. So I showed up and I just sat there and we just talked about, in the way that I could explain about who I am. And then she said, you can start working from the next week. And then in my mind, like working, what I supposed to do? And then I discovered that I am the one actually to find customers and work. So nobody's gonna give me one customer. Like this is the customer and that's the job you have to do. So first year was very challenging because first year actually I understood what does mean real estate, and but I was never discouraged, and I did not have for 1 second a thought in my head that I will give up. I said, I'm in, and I will do it.
All right. So this first even weeks or months, because I imagine in your, you only know what you know, right? What you've seen or experienced or someone told you. And this is something no one's told you or you ever experienced. That first day, does she help you set a structure in your day to get you started? Because like I said, she goes, oh, okay, hey, why don't you come in Monday and start? Okay, you walk in the door, what are you doing, right? If you come to a W-2 job where they're payrolling you and they just hire you, you're coming in and the first day they're going to structure it. Hey, you're going to be going over your benefits and going all over that. And then we're going to, send you to a training class, or you're going to take some training stuff online or whatever. What is that first weeks and months for you? Do they help you structure your day?
So they helped me. Actually, they provided a great training. So I was there to learn. Learning from contracts, all the addendums, like how you the scripts, how you can talk with buyers, how you can talk with the sellers, what are the rules of real estate. So I was most in training, in training, in training, in training, in training. And also when I came home from trainings, I felt I don't know enough about real estate. So I started to explore in full MLS. I became curious about different areas, like why, let me study Mandarin area, let me study Arlington area, let me look at this 2,000 square feet in Arlington and this 2,000 square feet in Mandarin, why the price is different. And, you know, I love to click and see the statistics.
Mm.
And it kind of like I have no idea about what happened before, but I need to study to know. So I took the time really to look through all the data from MLS and just learn about zip codes and learn about the neighborhoods, the name, like all the maps on MLS. I explored all of them. And then I focused myself on mortgage field. I said, I need to watch as many as possible videos or information to understand when I'm working with buyers, how I can help them. So for me, it was very important to know the entire aspect in real estate, like the mortgage field, the history and the database.
Because you hadn't even sold the house yet.
No,
Right.
I was just doing the researches, and all of this, and then I was really happy to do the buyer's estimate for the closing costs, for the monthly payment. I was training how to do it, and I was really happy that I can provide something to my buyers or to my sellers to see the numbers.
Right.
So it was always about learning. And then the first customer that I had was actually an agent from our company. She said, I'm going on vacation, but I have one client. Would you be able to help her? Yeah. And she said, even I'm giving it to you, like, let's set a referral and you can take it over. It's like, oh, I'm so happy. So, and that was my first customer. I was touring with her 2 weeks, homes, and we signed the contract. And she still sent me texts on Thanksgiving or New Year. She's still sending me texts how grateful she is because I have a story with her. At the last time when we did showings, I showed her 4 houses that she really liked, and the number 4, she said, let's put an offer on this one. Me and my family just love the home. And I said, do you know that I have another one? It's just 2 miles from here. So let's just go and see that one, and then I will go home.
If anything, it's going to reassure you that
Yes.
that's the one.
So we went to the last one, to the 5th one, and then she said, she started even crying. She said, this is my dream home. And then the next year, when we had like a celebration for Thanksgiving at our office, she came in person and she said, I have my lovely home just because of this person, just because she said, let me show you one more.
Yeah.
So that was a great story to
Yeah.
start in real estate.
100%. Do you, because when you were explained that you wanted to learn, and I think, when people are put in situations in their lives, sometimes it takes someone to like completely fail and fall on their face to turn around and do something. You didn't fail. You came here, but you obviously understood and accepted, because you had these wants. You wanted to be in a country like the United States, or you had the freedom to do the things that you desired and so forth. But you knew there was going to be a mountain to overcome, the challenge. Obviously, the language. You're gonna have to find a job. They're gonna hire you because there's the language challenge. And then obviously, in this case, you go totally away from your degree to real estate, and you're diving into even like you just I was talking about the mortgage. I mean, most real estate agents. They get scared. They don't even want to ask the client anything on the financial side, even like, hey, where's your down payment coming from? Or how much do you have saved up to do this, or just some basic broad questions like that. But you actually dove into it. Was that just is that just you knowing that to overcome the obstacle of learning real estate as a from a bigger picture, or was this something that you just culturally, your family just desired to learn? Just this, because some people just, well, some people never get out of college, but they just want a degree after degree or degree and never actually put it to the road. You actually had this thirst for greater knowledge, and you didn't even really have to know mortgages. No one said, hey man, you got to know mortgages forward and backwards and be able to show someone a good faith estimate or calculate their cost rate, because you have loan officers you can throw that off to. But you actually wanted to know what was behind the scenes.
Exactly.
What was that something you just culturally, or just your personal?
I felt I am not going to be a great agent if I will just open a door.
Mm-hmm.
Because opening a door, I felt it's easy, but this is not the greatest service that you can provide to customers. So the part of mortgage and like studying all types of loans, the requirements, the obstacles, and eventually what not to do to fail the deal.
Yeah.
And that was actually, I was thirsty to study, to know more how to be able to guide my customers. And this helped me a lot because in almost 8 years in my career, I never had a fail through sale. So once I have the home, the contract, and the pre-approval, I closed the house.
Yeah.
I had a few extensions until I was solving the problems.
Right.
But I understand that this is very important. Like, because buyer will do sometimes things that they have no idea it's against them. But I need to be the one to tell them up front, hey, don't do this. Yeah. Like, do you have this? And if everybody will have problems, most of people will have problems, like they will not have sufficient funds. How I'm gonna deal with a buyer who has like a bad credit, like, or pay off some debts, or how we can improve the monthly payment, like what we're gonna do. So there is so many things that I've learned, and actually I enjoy it. It's a part
solving a puzzle. It's really a puzzle.
I enjoy it to do it. So that when came to, like, I had a deal where I have to go through 4 lenders to get the final approval, the clear to close. Mm-hmm. So going through 4 lenders, it's difficult. You have to be on the phone and solve one problem until they find another one, and then we're moving the file to another lender, they find another problem, and then we're moving the file to another one and to another one.
Yeah.
Or I had like multiple times, I have buyers, first-time home buyers, and they're not approved, and they're calling me. Unfortunately, I'm so disappointed. I served in the military and I'm not approved. And then it's like, what they told you? And they kind of like, oh, they told me this and that. And then I'm getting back with the loan officer, and I had 2 times when I spent more than 9 days going back and forth with the loan officer, of course with the buyer's permission, but going back and forth how to solve his,
issues.
And then we finally got the approval.
Yeah.
And then we buying the home, and then the buyer just is in tears, because if I would not do it, we will not have the home today.
100%. It's just I'm blown away. Not because just the way you launched yourself into this business and you went, head first into it. But what you're expressing to me in that story, these couple loan issues that come up all the time, in every loan, every purchase has some little bump in the road. It could be something with the house, but obviously the loan issues are always, a good percentage of the challenges in coming through. But you understood some lenders will do that and some lenders won't. Yeah. And that is something a lot of real estate agents, I think, even after years and years, don't fully understand. And it took me, having worked for different lenders through my nearly 20 years of being in this business, that some lenders will do that and some lenders don't. Some as simple as just, hey, what's the minimum credit score you take on a VA loan? Depending on who you're dealing with, you might have about 3 or 4 different answers there. But also, I had recent situations with condos. 2 other lenders denied it. We took it and we closed it in a week. In this case, I think it was more our staff. I would like to brag about my people that are behind me in the operations department in our condo team in this particular situation to get it closed. But how you've learned quickly, you need to have 3 or 4 lenders on your speed dial. You may have your favorite, but you need to have those others that will, like you. Someone said to me one time years ago that I'll chew the chicken off the bone. Yes, because I've done enough loans, especially working in a call center for 12 years and doing volume of loans, seeing thousands of credit reports, seeing what loans actually have an opportunity to close. And when I see they have an opportunity, I drill down on it, right? And we get them. I've been more successful than not in getting some of those crazy ones done and and the people appreciate you so much when
that's true.
Yeah, because they realize they're not perfect in whatever their situation, they have issues, and then when you're able to because most likely they started with like, this is probably not going to happen, but we'll take a shot, and then when you get it done, they're like, oh my goodness, wow, yeah. I just have to compliment you on that, because that is leaps and bounds among many of your peers in that area to make sure you have 3 or 4 lenders that you can go on, because I think right now with condos, just to bring that subject up, with the regulations that have changed over the last few years, the lenders haven't stayed up to speed. So if you don't have a lender, I will brag about Town Bank. Just throw it out there. We have a great condo team. We stole this individual from another lender a few years ago. He gets them done, and he finds ways to get around, not illegal, but you have to find them where they can find exceptions, right? Yeah. The guideline may say X, but can you find X with a little Y on it?
That's all about.
Yeah, you got to
find that thing.
Yeah, where they're willing to accept it and put it through. So I compliment you on finding that and understanding that quickly. Sounds like fairly quickly in your business, and that's why you're closing. I guarantee you're probably closing a dozen more loans a year because you know this.
I try
more
to
transactions. Yeah.
do my best.
Yeah,
at this point.
Because you're going to have some of those. Everyone has them. That some of those clients, whether it's first-time home buyers, you're always dealing. There's always a little bit of issues.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times in my career have we gotten loans closed because we waited till their payday to get that check to deposit in there so they could show enough funds in their account to actually close?
Yes.
We've done that many times.
Yes, that's true. That's how we do.
Yeah, we find ways around it. So that's just amazing. So. It sounds like you got fortunate coming to this ERA group, in this mentor, obviously, who searched you out and brought you into the business. Yes. I imagine she continued to mentor you. And let me ask this question directly, and you can, if she was involved or someone else. Did you take time? Were there others in the office where you maybe did some shadowed them? Followed them around, saw how they did the business?
No, I withdrew myself actually from different things that most of the realtors will do. I just felt I have to do this on my own way. So and I understand, but that's not my personality. When they told you to do 10 things, I may do 1 only. And then I will have to do the way I feel inside. So to me, it was more, okay, I have this customer and I need to take care of the customer. So what I should do at this moment is to bring my knowledge, everything that I studied, to avoid any mistakes and look for the best and use my brain and use my heart and all I have in the benefit of the customer. And so I don't do phone calls, follow-ups, like watching how this person does, because it's not
Well, you said you were
me.
watching videos. Or you're learning. What ways are
I
best for
was
you?
almost more looking to learn about the areas, like how, certain realtors will present the area or communities.
Hmm.
But I did not felt that I have to follow someone how they do the business.
Right.
So to me, it was like, I don't know. It's just maybe because at the time I was not really knowing, understanding the real estate. So that I said, okay, it's just like this is the job, this is what I have to do. But I did not think about that I have to follow someone.
So I think the typical person could come and say, "Hey, you want to become a real estate agent? Okay, take the 60 hours, pass the test. Okay, so I know all this trivial knowledge, right? So you don't do something illegal, right?
Yes.
That's really what's out. Um, showing the house. I think most people can get creative with that if they didn't have someone to role model after. Is there, does Ryan Serhan on $1 Million Listing show a house a certain way? Should I be like as flamboyant as him or something like that? But when that person that we were talking about said, "Hey, I'm ready to make it. Let's make an offer on this." Is there? Did you are? I can't believe you just like you knew exactly what to do next. Because I imagine most agents, okay, okay, now I got to fill out a contract, or what do there's that question there. Did you rely? I mean, did you people in the office where you could call on to fill in some of these immediate gaps that are not necessarily on a video? Like, hey, your client wants to make an offer. This is what you do next.
I am a person that would like to predict things
Hmm.
and be prepared. That's me. So before I was really actually going into showings, I already knew and I had my own example how to fill out the contract. I was already
You
prepared
already
with the
practiced that.
documents. I really love the documents part.
Hmm.
That the documents part is my preferred one. That's why I don't have any transaction coordinator. Like I'm dealing with all these dot loops, all the addendums, all of this.
Yeah.
And I do it quickly and because I really love it. And I also pay attention to details. So that's it's easy for me. That's how I feel. It's easy.
Yeah.
So when I was ready to fill out the contract, I had already the example. So I just, put basic information related to the property, to the seller and buyer. And then as a first requirement, you have to send out this contract to someone from the office to see how well you did.
Review it.
Review it.
Yeah.
I sent it, was excellent, no correction. And then I said, that's great. That's it. And I find out a way to really understand the documents and what's there. So because I just took the time and I understood, even with my poor English, but still there is a verbiage that sits there and I understood the verbiage. So to me, I was not like, oh, should I do this or should I knew exactly how I'm gonna do
Well, it
it.
sounds like you pre-played, you role played yourself already through this entire
Yes.
most of the way through this process,
Yes.
and until something comes up that as the deal comes off the tracks, is not always the same reason. And then you got to
Yes.
discover. But that is just amazing, and a compliment to you. Obviously ERA provided some great things, but you were probably going to be successful in most any brokerage that you went to because of your own intrinsic, wanting to learn, understanding it wherever you were getting your knowledge from. And obviously you said like role playing, what to do next. So what do I do when someone asks about let's make an offer. Oh my God, what do I do? A lot of agents
No,
get to that
it's
point.
not
They're like,
that.
oh, what do I do? You were already
I was
prepared.
ready.
You were ready for that. Yeah.
The one thing that I want to mention in 2021, I had the most closed sales working with buyers in ERA,
Mm-hmm.
Davison Link Company. So, and that was everything in multiple offers. And can you imagine with my, I would say poor English, you can't just take the phone and call the person, the agent saying, hey, I want this house because it's not in my advantage with my language,
Mm-hmm.
people still may, have a presumption about who you are, how well you do.
Right.
So I found my own way how to win in multiple offers, and that was the greatest year to prove myself that even my English is not perfect, but the way I found to do things in real estate is in my advantage. And I had actually brokers, they were listing their family members' homes, and I was selected in multiple offers. And I say, okay, this is a huge honor. They saw the way I presented. How what are the most important things from the contract, and then this way I was able to have lots of signed contracts in winning in multiple offers.
It really gave you a lot of at bats, and the thirst for knowledge that you continue to have. You just were absorbing this in at a high rate. You were taking it like a fire hose. The amount of knowledge, and I think some of the agents that came through, or even some agents that started during that period of time, were fortunate enough if they retained a lot of those experiences, just having a lot of at bats. I think it's very important in a lot of things. I mean, I was fortunate enough to start in a call center. So I had a lot of at-bats, like pulling credit reports and solving loan problems. We were doing a lot of refis at first. That was fortunate enough in my career because I had a lot of situations, talked to a lot of different clients, because as you know, experience, every deal is different. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. We talked earlier about grit. You have a lot of grit, obviously. I hopefully fully understand that word. I don't know if that's an act. Obviously, grit has a definition, but grit, obviously, there could be grit in your teeth, but the grit to persevere, and obviously you have it at a high level. It's almost, in what you've done in life, obviously, coming from Moldova to the United States and not knowing the language. I mean, there's many Americans would never do that. I mean, we would, I don't want, unless they could speak English. We're fortunate enough to, obviously, we vacation a lot of places or go to Mexico, but we translate one way or another, right? Think of all the Caribbean islands and the different language. We go to Europe. There's somebody around that speaks English, right? We could find somebody and translate. But for you to come here is like, there's no one around. I wouldn't say no one around. We'd have to search greatly to find someone that had your native language and that could understand. So it's not, hey, you walk in the store, oh, hey, do you know no, they don't know the language, right? So that was true grit. But as I mentioned earlier in the pre-show, and prepped you for this one a little bit just so we could think about it, because I want to put this book together in grit. And actually, one of the chapters is, because I've had multiple people on, as I mentioned, Danielle Tone, she came from Chile. Actually, Jocelyn Reyes Brunel, or Jocelyn Reyes, she's changed her last name. She was born in New York, but she actually was raised in Puerto Rico from an infant. So she didn't even know English when she came to the United States. She only knew Spanish. And there's a few others that I've had on that, came here in that challenge. I'm going to actually have a chapter on that, and how, basically, if you want to say how we're going to describe it, foreign born, don't even know the language, and come to the United States and learn real estate, because it's not, it is offered here at UNF as a course, but no one who thinks about it 18 years old to go take real, there's not, there's a handful of people that actually, do it, because our age group, and I'm older than you, but, most of people is a second career type thing.
Yes.
You came here and you dove into it. This is an amazing story. But anyway, the grit part, I believe you have to have your LLC. You have to have your love, and you have to have your laughter. And then obviously, what are you doing consistently in your business? So what is it that, in what we just talked about for the last 20 minutes here, your story of entering it, you obviously created some sort of a passion or love for what you were learning. What was it? What is it that you love about the transaction of real estate?
So it's always about what I can do for people. And my entire life, I was the one who was thinking about people, what I can provide, how I can improve this world, how I can help someone, how I can make a difference. So to me is I have a mission. I need to sell or I need to buy. And no matter who is this person, I have to do my best in every aspect. That's how I take it. So the work ethics, the love that I put into every transaction, the things that like what I can bring different, like how I can make a difference, and also like how they can have the best service and not making any mistakes, like when they sell or they buy. So I'm looking for a best experience, um, successful stories, and touching their hearts by providing the best help that I can do. And this is fulfilling career. Of course, there is a lot of things that actually it's difficult to go through, but I remind myself this is not the first time I'm doing. The next day is gonna be much better, and I'm there for them because I may do this every day, but for them is the first experience of being in kind of like frustration, and sometimes even the lender is not answering for 24 hours and they are deadline person, so they're like like where they are, like
Right.
why they are not responding back, what's happening, or when they last moment the lender will ask for documents like the last 24 hours before closing and they're getting upset, like well, they had 30 days to ask for this stuff and now they're asking me again, so that's the part where I have to be there for them. In terms of finding homes, I always look kind of like upfront before we will put an offer, and I'm showing up there like looking for bad stuff all the time. Like I will look for if there is any damage to the home, mold issues.
Let me you I'm going to take that quote, be there for them. Have you found, because I believe with the in the past year with the the NAR settlement within everyone calls it the National Association Realtor settlement. NAR doesn't like you to call them NAR, I guess
Mm-hmm.
from what I'm told. But as the collateral damage has been a downgrade in the, at least I think in the industry we have perceived that they've downgraded the value of a real estate agent. You said be there for them, and it made me think there is a lot of situations. uh, Housing is so important to a community, and sometimes helping, yes, some person make that first leap into their first home isn't always easy. We love the easy transactions. Yeah, they graduated from college, they got this great salary, they're buying a reasonable home. We've got plenty of first time home buyer programs or whatever. They got great credit, they pay their bills, no problem. We got something there. It's those ones that we've got a little extra hair to them. These we go to four lenders to get them done, that sort of thing, because you are there for them. Do you believe, and I believe you do, but tell me if I'm wrong, some of these situations may not have happened unless they had an expert like you or someone who is willing to persevere and push it because you just know it can be done. You just believe it can be done. If you didn't take it, it wasn't going to happen.
Sometimes I really have to give credit to myself, and I have last year I closed one of the transaction. My first time home buyer was 81.
Mm.
So, and I asked him like, how you ended up like this with no home because you are 81 and you are buying your first home. And he said, I never had the opportunity actually to go more deep into this. But so when I first talked to him, he said, I'm looking to buy a condominium at the first level in St. Augustine. And he was approved. And I did not found any condominium at the first level at his approval in St. Augustine. And I was looking 3 months. And then finally he told me, you know, I'm going to just rent one more year and that's it. But in the meantime, it's like, okay, if I'm not finding a condominium that first level, what I can else find him? And came to my mind that I should look for a single family, even though he never asked me to buy a single family.
Right.
But I said, if it's the same first level, and if it's less fee, the single family is more expensive than a condominium, but we are not paying the monthly fee for the HOA.
Right.
So if I can switch him from the condominium with high fee to low fees, one level, single family,
You can always pay someone to mow the lawn.
baths,
Yeah.
and then how I asked him, would you be interested in a single family? And he said, like, I never thought about, but if you find something, just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and I found and I sent him pictures and videos. The next day he came and we signed the contract, and now he owns a home at 82.
It's, and I think, you know, you're a testament to this. You're a poster. I don't think people realize there's a lot of these transactions like that, because I think a lot of agents would have said, yeah, there's no, you know, there, he's 81, he wouldn't buy a single family home. They're already not even asking him. They're just whatever. When there are some of those there, single family homes, you could find them in the right price point, and what he was paying in fees, he could pay someone to mow the lawn, you know, take care of the outside or whatever, you know, type of thing. A lot of these transactions would not happen unless there were quality real estate agents like yourself. That's because you really are really working every single one and really digging in deep. The story is amazing. All right, laughter. And I know I prepped you for this question because a lot of people get confused with it, but you know, we've had setbacks in life. Huge language barrier to me. I'm always amazed by our foreign-born friends that come to the United States and don't know the language. And I have great admiration for all of you to come here, learn the language, and work through it, and have faith. And you know, there is a level of fear and everything involved. But the laughter part of it, you've done enough transactions now, 8 years into it. You're still, every real estate agent every year is thrown, you know, because every transaction is different. You're thrown a different curveball, another challenge, a different problem with the house, a different problem with the loan, you know, guidelines to whatever. Help us, tell us a little bit of a story where you had that setback that really like kind of punched you in the gut, and you're like, oh my God. But then you're like, I've done this before. No big deal. Let's move on.
Yes, I had a story where actually I had the customer first as a buyer, and we went through a rough time when we bought, and when we had to sell, I was really, you know, asking God, God help me, because it's in the situation where in the community there's so many houses for sale. The market is very slow, so I really needed to do my best. But sometimes you do your best and still is not happening just
Right.
because of the market. And then also to sell this house was contingent on buying the home. So it was like a combined problem to sell and buy in the meantime in a very difficult market time. And I remember myself that I did it before. I'm still doing it. And we go through this, and no matter what's gonna happen right now, today, tomorrow is another day. And I'm trying again, I'm calling again, I'm following up again. Let's see how we can extend, or let's see how my seller and buyer will be willing to do something differently. So that's all about, and that's how you understand that. Yeah, that's the time. But you know what? I did it before, so I'll be fine. I will survive. It's just a matter of time until tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, the realization that one, a lot of times we don't know all the seller or buyer's situation. We generally get enough to say, oh, hey, okay, you're an eligible buyer, but we don't. Ask some questions sometimes until that challenge or that wall comes up, right? You know, you're selling, like, well, how desperate are you? You know, what let me dig a little deeper and ask a few more questions here, because you're in this situation, and y- the sun comes up the next day,
Yes.
and you
Always.
don't know when that person that comes into town, and you may just think that's just an average home, but from where they're from, they think that's a castle.
Yes.
And that's just, you know what I mean? And they're willing to go above and beyond, or whatever it is. They just want that home. You don't know, maybe their kids live in the neighborhood and they want to be near the grandkids or something. We don't know that situation. And that's kind of the great thing about the business we're in, is sometimes, yeah, we're throwing that curve like, oh my God, I got to sell this house. And all of a sudden the buyer walks in the next day and thinks it's the greatest thing since
Yes.
sliced bread. Give me this house. I want this house. Yeah. And then 8 years in the business, the LLC, the C being consistency. And you may have evolved this over time. I'm sure you've evolved your business. And in 8 years, obviously, we saw the run up into 20 and 21, where, I mean, it was crazy. Stick a sign in the yard and you had multiple offers. And now things have slowed down. Interest rates are higher. Things are on the market longer. What have you evolved that you're doing today, that you are doing consistently in your business, to know that if you're doing this every day, you're moving your business forward?
I don't follow a plan, a specific plan. I always think I have to work on myself to become better every day.
Mm-hmm.
Better at knowing things, better at serving, better at predicting things, better at research, improving myself. I think I can be the best one. And then, of course, people will remember me for the great service, and that's the greatest way to be successful in real estate.
That's a great answer. I love that answer. I'm going to lead into another question, though. Do you do anything that you feel, because you were leading in to what a lot of top agents that I've had on the show, they really focus on the experience with their customer. You understand that you make that customer feel like a VIP, overcome obstacles. They think you're a hero. They want to tell others about you.
Exactly.
That's why when I said experience, Melissa Ricks renamed her Melissa Ricks Experience. And I remember her teasing you. She goes, "You know what I'm talking about. You'll guess what I'm going to change the name to." But that's what it's all about. That experience, because that's your marketing, really, when it comes down to it. I mean, you can put billboards all over town, but until people start telling them, "Hey, man, I did a deal with her. Oh my God, she's amazing. She got that deal closed. Whatever. She negotiated awesome. It was just great to work with. All those great things. That experience is really what is going to compound your business year over year." Do you do anything that you feel is unique because like you said, you like to do business your way?
Yes.
Is there something you do your way that is a little different than most agents do?
I don't know exactly how other agents will do, because I never worked in team to watch actually close realtor
Right.
fellow to see how they do business. But what I feel in my heart that is unique about me is like I'm truly looking for the best interest for the client. That's how I feel that it's unique. Not looking at the sale price, not looking at bonuses, not looking at showing up how successful I am. Actually, I'm, simple, there for them, and I'm treating them as the best I can. That's that's how I feel that my soul is unique for people.
It sounds like because you lead with your heart, which might be a good title for this podcast. Veronica Barba leads with her heart. The people you work with notice that. It might take them the entire transaction and look back, go, "Oh my God, she actually put this together. We had a negotiation." And of course, you make them feel like they won. Who knows what happened in the negotiation, right? They feel like because you went to bat for them, you educated them on their options, and they felt like they were part of the solution. And they didn't only was because of your knowledge and your thirst for knowledge and understanding and explaining to them in a proper way, so that they understood what the best move for them would be. That's what it sounds like to me. And you don't have to, I mean, there's no way to, express that. It's hard to express that to somebody before the transaction. They actually have to see it
Yes.
for to believe it, right? It's
Yes.
kind of one of those. Yeah.
Yes, that's true because I just had a customer, a buyer. She's very meticulous. She likes to write down things in details. And she said, I'm coming to Jacksonville area, but I don't believe I will find a home in 2 days. I'm definitely just coming touring the area and I will have to schedule another time to come and, look more and stuff like that. And I told her, like, I'm pretty sure you can find a home with me in 2 days. But she did not believe it. She did not believe it. I was very confident she will find the way I will show her what we have because I planned to show her like 10, 15 resale homes and 4 or 5 new communities. And I was prepared with the numbers, like how much this house will cost, how much this home will cost, and seeing different locations. So I gave her like everything. So she was able to choose one of the homes in 2 days.
Well, you obviously had to lead that in a way to get out of her needs and wants, right?
Yes, I was prepared to show her exactly what she was looking for.
Right. Walk us through that because obviously you're having this conversation, I imagine, over the phone because they're coming from outside the area.
Yes.
What are some important things that you really, we may ask a question, directly. It's like, hey, do you need a pool? Or how many, obviously how many bedrooms, right? Would be a common thing that most people have in their mind. But you drill down on some of these things because, they may say, hey, I want 4 bedrooms, but really 3's enough because if it does have a pool, we'll take that instead of a bedroom, right? Some whatever their situations. Is there certain things you try to drill down to help you narrow that down? In this case, sounds like you had somewhere between 15 and 20 options for her to look for. And then on top of that, you did the math for her. You did the logic, right? You have the emotional part, like, hey, this house looks beautiful. It's got beautiful landscape, whatever. It's in the setting that she described to you that she wanted, but then you backed it up with the logic of, hey, this is how this payment's going to work. Tell you how you walk through that conversation over.
I always ask my customers like what you are looking for. And I want to know what are their preferences, but also I know these preferences may change based on approval and based on location, because you can tell me I want a pool, but if you're not approved for that pool and in a certain location, even we can't afford a pool.
Right.
So it's like, it's one thing to want, I can listen to you, but when it comes how much you can afford, I will choose the best option. So in this case, I will listen about everything they're looking for, but I always tell them we have 3 things to put in order. Number 1, location, where you're going to buy that home. Second, the layout of the house with what's in it. This is going to be 1,500 or 1,700 or 2,000 or 3,000 square feet. And at this point, you have to actually step in and choose the home that you like the layout much better. And the third, how much will cost you per month. So location, the layout of the house itself, and the monthly payment. Once you see all of these 3 together like a puzzle, that's your home.
Yeah.
So I choose based on, and I always, they can send me a list with different homes that I can look up, and I always do my research about the houses. If it's not in flood, if it's in flood, I have to tell them. If it's close by the train, I have to tell them. If it's close by sewer station, I have to tell them. Stuff like that, like guiding. And I'm asking, like, would be, this house is 5 homes down the road from a busy road. Are you okay to see? And it's like, no. Scratching.
You like to do a lot of your homework up front.
Yes, I'm not just traveling around Jacksonville.
Yeah, in this case, I mean, you said the 15 to 20 homes that you kind of had on a list for her. It's a little extra work, but in this case, you actually closed it in 2 days because you actually took the time to do the homework on each of those homes. Because what I think that the tip that we could share with anyone listening take the time while you're comfortable at home, whatever, and doing the homework. It sounds like you're working up the payment for them based off what they're telling you they have cash, because you're asking them that how much you're going to put down on these homes. So you're working up an approximate payment because you're getting an approximate insurance. Obviously, you're looking up the taxes online, which is great, and then, obviously any community fees and stuff like that. But having that information up front, you knocked it out in 2 days. And when you think about how much you're being paid an hour, well, you cut down the hours you had to spend with her, because you, on your own time, you're, what I think is, I'm just going to use the word downtime, because you're not with a customer face to face. You took advantage of that downtime to do the homework, and you had everything mapped out for her, and she had everything in front of her to make a decision.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great tip right there, because I find a lot of agents, and not to blame them, because if you're in this category that I'm going to describe, you're common. They're calling the lender and asking, what would a payment look like? And then they want us to look up the taxes and insurance. You should already know what the taxes and insurance are before you even show the house.
I really have an idea about monthly payment, because working with first-time home buyers, sometimes they have no
Very
idea
touchy
about the monthly payment. So
yeah, if it's off a couple $100, they might throw them off. Yeah, yeah. So, but just doing that homework, because again, you're it's that emotional part, and then you're bringing in the logic. Hey, this fits in your budget. Oh, okay. Check that off the list. I don't have to worry about. You're not waiting another hour or 2 hours or the next day to get back a payment. Say, is this gonna? You saw that home yesterday. Oh, this is what the payment will look like. Well, it's already been so many hours. I'm distracted by something else. Another house has popped up, and they want to go look at that, and then you're bouncing around. You're getting it up front and laying it out. That's what I think is amazing. That's a tip for the agents out there today. I want to close with just some things of advice for the listeners out there. Some things that you're doing. What do you think? What do you think are 3 things in this market right now that all agents should be doing? Whether it's when they're talking to buyers, or they're talking to sellers, or just in their day-to-day routines. Some things that everyone should be doing right now.
So no matter how the market is going up or going down, is always time to improve your skills of communication. You can reach out, because you'll be amazed. Like, I'm thinking, like, who is going to buy? Last year, I was thinking, who is going to buy this year?
Right.
Because the interest rate went up. And in January last year, I asked myself, I may not have any buyers. Who knows, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 10. Like, what I'm going to do? But then I say, but if you look back at statistics, people will always buy and sell no matter how the market is. So what we have to do is just be ready. And if you have less customers, you go back to your people that you know, and you get in touch, and you may ask for referrals. I mean, I'm not asking at this point for any referrals. I'm getting referrals without asking. But if I would experience a hard time, this is what I will do. Mm-hmm. So basically right now, it's all the way about referrals. I do a great job, and someone is just...
So going back and really drilling down on your past clients, seeing how they're doing, see if they can, they know. The
best way. If you did a great job, people will definitely recommend you, and you'll get more business, because even in these days, people will still need a home.
All right. There's one tip. What else should they be doing? I'm going to dig deep. I'm going to pull it out of you. You're doing things right now differently.
I'm not the best one to teach, coach people. It's just when it comes to myself, how I became last year very successful. One of the best years that I had is just work hard and. All
right. Let me go back on that then a little bit, because it was your previous years that compounded your business, and because of what you've done in the past. And maybe you have that agent out there, maybe he's in the business 3 years right now, and they've only done maybe 15, 20 transactions in 3 years. What should they do? And I imagine you probably do this already, after every transaction go back and like what did I do good? What could I do better in? Right? Just evaluate your performance, so to speak. What are some tips that if you're only doing 5 or 7 transactions for the last 3 years, how do you get to 40? How do you get? I think you did. I don't know. You had a great year in 23 as well, at least the numbers that I could see, and then to do what and then beat it again, beat it here in 24. That was a compounding of years of you doing certain things. What do you think that agent that needs help maybe comes to you and goes, man, what is it you're doing? The clients just love you. What are some things they probably need to like go back and evaluate in their process of what they're doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I became, I will just talk about how I feel I became more successful. Is you have to know more, definitely, because every deal teaches you something, and the more you know, the more confident you are. So being more confident is like people can feel your confidence because they sound like they are undecided, they feel lost. But when you step in, when you're coming, it's like, okay, I now I feel relief. She is here. She will guide me. She will give me this and help, and she's here for me. I can feel it. So
Mm.
that's confidence as well. You still, because some people will say the more business you have, then you take less care of people. So I will, the more business I have less time, but this does make me take care less of my people.
Right.
So even I'm tired sometimes because I don't have time. I just have a closing and then I have to do showings and then coming home to submit an offer and then make appointments for the next day. So it's like never ending. But I put the same
Smiley face on.
and
Yeah.
they don't have to know that I'm so tired. Sometimes I may tell them, oh, this month I had so many closings, but I'm here for you.
Right.
Just to know. Just I closed yesterday, but I'm here for you today.
Right.
So that's how it is. So it's I can't teach anyone how they have to do it. Is you have to feel on your way how to do it.
Well, the word that's being thrown around a lot is authentic. Whether you're doing a video, you want to be authentic, right? It sounds like being authentic, but your authenticity has to be uh, that you're leading with your heart, right? I mean, you have to be authentically leading with your heart, and they will see that. And I mean, if I was to pick up anything from this podcast, just listening to this, is that you do your homework, you have your confidence because of the knowledge that you've gained when you're not in front of a customer, when you have time to research the property. So that when they're sitting there going, ooh and on, you could say, well, what are some of your concerns? And they're going to spill out their concerns. And you say, well, oh, okay, great. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. Well, the amenity center is right over here, and this is here. And that school over there is whatever it is, you know what I mean? Because you've done your homework, and then you, like you said, express the confidence. I think confidence is the if we can lead with what do we call that tip? It's confidence, and you're gaining it by taking the time to educate yourself on that community, on that house, maybe that builder, and telling people a little history. Everyone likes to know a little bit of like, hey, I'm going to move in this community. Oh, well, what's some history? What's the bragging rights of that school? Oh, it goes to Nice High School. That's where Tim Tebow went, right? You need to throw things out there like that, right? Yeah. People don't know those little trivial things, and you throw that stuff out there, and it gives you street credibility that you've been there, done that.
Yeah, and people will feel what type of person you are, and it's immediately they can feel with who they are dealing with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think leading with the heart is going to be the name of this podcast. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm very grateful for every person I met that impacted really my life and my career.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very grateful for my buyers and for my sellers. And I don't have any history that will make me feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, it's always turning out to have a great transaction. Even we're struggling with some things during the transaction. It's not related to me, it's just related to the process. So it's a really fulfilling career. And at the beginning, I had no idea in what I'm stepping in, but right now, at this moment, I truly love what I do.
Yeah. You have an amazing story, and what you did, the leap into real estate head first, and like you said, not barely knowing the language and the learning the culture on a daily basis, and then where you're at today is just amazing. Being one of the top real estate agents in Jacksonville is just, let alone really Florida. I mean, there's people who've done greater volume because maybe they're in Miami or whatever, but the 45 transactions is quite a bit, and that's an amazing story.
Thank you.
I
Thanks
appreciate
for
you coming
your
on today.
Thank you.
Thank you.